They say there are things in the H.P. Lovecraft mythos that just by looking at them, just by seeing them, you'll be driven to insanity. Matt has seen such a thing today. And that thing is called In Search of Lovecraft. Matt, no! Chill. What did you see, Matt? What?
I saw nothing. It's just a swirling vortex of nothingness. The dark abyss that is nothing, that represents what's below the horizon line. All the actors in this movie couldn't act their way out of it because it's just a vacuum of nothingness. It's an hour and a half of nothing happening.
Okay, yeah, that's... Put it simply. How else can we describe...
In Search of Lovecraft. Alright, we didn't find him! That's one universal thing we can say about this movie, is that we did not find him. The person who obviously wrote this movie has absolutely no idea what H.P. Lovecraft was entirely about. Yeah. And I love how they say it like 2 or 3 times in the story. It's like, oh, if H.P. Lovecraft stories were true, I'm like, you really have never read any of his work.
What they're doing, they had a part at the beginning where, oh, well, I guess plot real quick.
Yeah,
maybe we'll cover that.
I guess we should.
This reporter and her little group of people and stuff and whatever need a story about some random stuff, and they manage to cover H.P. Lovecraft. It's Halloween. This all takes place over the course of like, a week? Since they started 31st and on the 6th, story-wise. So yeah, about a week.
Yeah, give or take.
You don't feel that it's a week. You feel that it's long. You don't feel that it's a week.
You feel like it's one night.
So, they get H.P. Lovecraft.
I almost fell asleep.
They talk to certain people, and all these people are saying, like, no, the mythos is real. You should talk to this person, because they're more of an expert, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like a massive circle jerk of people who are all H.P. Lovecraft experts. They never talk about the stories of H.P. Lovecraft. They're H.P. Lovecraft.
They name a couple characters, they name a couple story titles.
And so they are saying how the monsters are real, and then they discover how people have died, and then people are dying around them as they're delving into it. And now it's a fight for survival until something happens with some stone or something. It's really bad at explaining. So that's the overall plot. Probably the shortest to explain out of any movie we've done.
Because this entire movie's padding. I mean, like... See, alright. If you take a Roman Polanski thriller, they're long. Like, The Ninth Gate is a long movie. However, there's always something happening!
Yeah. See, there's always something in this movie that's driving the plot forward, quote, quote. But it's never something interesting. They just drive the plot forward in the most boring of ways.
And they only push it forward maybe once every 15 minutes. That you get a little bit of something that pushes the plot a little bit forward. And it doesn't even really have a clear ending.
No.
It doesn't have any resolution. Now, like, were you trying to set this up to have a sequel? Because...
At the very end, I don't know if their monster thing happened. I don't know if the apocalypse has actually happened. I doubt it did.
Are they doing a thing from the darkness? No, I don't think so.
There's no... They talk about this guy named the Black Man. He's not racially
You see him once.
Black. He's like the color black, devoid of light, a total abyss. You get the idea.
I think they only showed him once.
They show him once, and then there's this weird tentacle thing that comes and grabs the hot chick. It's not a hentai, I swear. There's this
it does some penetration. So...
Not in that way. But it's
all in the fog. You can't tell.
Yeah, nothing happens.
This was obviously... Now, I want to say about my half of this point, and then you can fill in the rest part. This, obviously, was filmed on videotape. Now, it's not as bad as Sandy Hook, where that was filmed on VHS tape. This was obviously shot digitally. But this was shot on digital tape. Like a mini DV tape. Shit that I used to film on. I don't even film all that shit anymore. Why in the world was no one else? But, given the date that this movie came out,
When it comes down to filming, usually I'm not the one who notices things.
that's usually my shtick.
He covers that. But, well, I'm a stickler for continuity. That's my thing. I like looking at it and just saying, like, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. They started, as I said, this was a film crew. There was a reporter and her camera guy and an intern, and they were trying to solve Lovecraft's thing. So they did it all at the beginning through the viewpoint of the camera guy's camera. They say that he just likes to film everything because reasons. So,
Reasons. That apparently are going to come up later on in the movie, but it has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on.
No, not at all. It's like, why do you film everything? I'm outrunning my past. Okay, that doesn't explain. But digressing, the problem I have, continuity-wise, is sometimes it's from the camera. And then sometimes the camera guy's on screen, but they explain one of the girls is holding the camera. Okay, well I can understand that. One of the other characters is holding the camera, that's fine. And then sometimes they set it up so it's a clear establishing shot. But if it's viewed from the camera, why would they establish that they're in a... That doesn't make a lot of sense documentary-wise.
Some scenes actually have the camera in the shot.
Have the camera in the shot.
But the camera quality never shifts.
It never does. There's no fine line.
The sound is all the same, too.
It's just, when it comes down to that little continuity thing of, there's the camera, there's the other camera, there's that, it gets to me. And I'm pretty sure Matt has something to say. So, Matt, what do you think?
The sound design sucks dicks.
See, this isn't my thing. That's his thing.
No, I'm not even good when it comes to sound design. I just know how unbelievably frustrating it can be. So now, for one of my films, I ended up having to do sound editing, like, for God knows how many hours on end. It actually ended up giving me an ear infection because I wore my headphones for so long. But the thing is, though, I became very attuned to how sound is done now. This movie's sound is awful. It's like in-camera sound. No! This is a production. This is a professional production. No!
Is it professional production?
Shut the fuck up. They're professional enough to be on Netflix, which isn't really saying much, but still.
I'm so confused as to how these things get on here.
Oh, there's a whole list of companies that you can just submit your movie to, and they can get it on Netflix. I'll show you later.
I don't want to know. It's going to make me sad.
Well, we're going to need it for later on for our shit.
We're not talking about our other stuff. This is
plug.
Stop plugging! God damn. Anyway, I guess let's try to get.
There's so much of nothing in this movie that we ended up talking about something.
You're talking about other stuff. I'm talking about the fucking
because
movie.
I'm not interested in what's going on. This movie has
acting. How is the acting? Fuck. Yeah.
Non-existent.
Yeah, that's.
These guys are so horrible. They're not. I mean. The director obviously wasn't telling them anything.
Well, no, I don't think it's... The director can only tell you so much.
Yeah, but they need an actual emotion to work with.
I mean, there's...
Do they watch the dailies?
Again, I don't think they're dailies. But
I have dailies!
But for films like this, you just kind of pick whatever actors and actresses look the part. Not really if they fit the part. The only time that happened out of the entire cast was there was an old woman in the beginning who went insane. She was good at playing insane. She was really good at playing insane. I applaud that old woman. But besides that, everybody else in the cast was just bland and uninteresting. They had like one moment in the sun each, except for the intern who I wanted to strangle.
I just wanted her to be in a smutty scene. I'm sorry, that's the sleazy part of me coming out. No.
Scoot over. Just scoot over.
Alright.
Poster. Look at that poster. That girl, she's not in it. Nothing about this poster is in the movie. Like, at all. There's no one with glowing eyes.
I want to
like
see that movie.
Yeah, that movie. That's why we clicked it. Like, no, that looks like it could have some interesting bits to it. No, it had the opposite of interesting bits. It had anti-interesting bits. It had boring bits, is what I'm saying here. Poster con.
This movie looks like it was shot on a budget smaller than Obama Nude.
Oh, don't mention that one.
And it was shot on the same cameras. And just... no.
Nothing about this movie makes...
It doesn't even work as a found footage movie.
No, it does. That's what it... If it was going for that and it kept the camera in reasonable spots for the cameraman to be, I could deal with it. But it was just like, well, I wonder where we are. Let's have a nice pan.
And also, the thing is, though, like, the camera style didn't change between when the person in the movie was holding the camera and the actual crew was holding the camera. Like, in Cannibal Holocaust, the style of cinematography between the documentary crew in the movie and the actual people in the overall storyline besides the raw footage, they were shot in two different ways, two different styles, two different pacings. Because one's supposed to be a documentary and one's an actual, like, narrative and whatnot. So, if they shot this movie that way, then it could have worked. However, they shot everything the same fashion, so you have absolutely no idea if it's in the movie or not, unless for once in a while they show the little record battery thing and whatnot on the little corners of the screen, and it would go away.
Best way to think about that, if you've ever seen Cloverfield, if you'll notice, within the first 10 minutes of the film, every time that there was like a shift in the time, they would show a little timestamp down in the bottom left or right hand corner saying, oh, this is 6:52 a.m. or this is on this day or whatever. But then they quickly stopped that. Very quickly. That's kind of what happened in this movie. They showed that it was channel 23 news, camera 6 recording. And then all of a sudden, oh, it was gone. Well, that's fine. I guess the display disappears after a while. Nope, it's back now. And it's gone again.
The script doesn't make any sense. There's no direction. The actors have no idea what they're doing. The dialogue is so horribly written.
Oh, not the dialogue.
The person who wrote this has absolutely no idea how to write, especially know how to write exposition. Because, one, the exposition scenes go on for like 10 times longer than they should.
They go on for longer than that, but they never say a damn thing about what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's usually like the last 2 or 3 lines in the scene explain what the whole scene is supposed to be about. And you could have simply satisfied all curiosity with just those few lines. They don't get this in this movie. Yeah, it's just nothing. It's just a black void of nothingness.
Whereas with other movies we voiced our grievances with character development, this one, while some characters did get development, they gave in to little things. Like the cameraman, he was in the army, and like I said, he was running away from his past. I don't get how that applies to being a cameraman or whatever, but
I mean, you can consider it character development, but at the same time, it doesn't enhance his performance or his motivations through anything throughout the movie.
Not at all.
It's character development that actually goes nowhere.
And that's
even worse.
Yeah, that's possibly worse than...
It's unnecessary information. What you can do... What makes people even more angry is to give them an abundance of unnecessary information rather than giving them no information at all. Because not only are you confusing them, you're also burdening them with extra information that just makes them more angry.
For instance, perfect example, Dying God. If you look back at what we said about that, they give character development to, I think his name, oh god, I can't remember his name. The main character, whoever it was. He got character development, but he just didn't matter. It didn't further his motives. His motives were clear all the time. He's a bad cop, and he's just doing stuff.
He's just a douche.
But then, they had good character development with Lance Henriksen's character, where they say, like, how he became in a wheelchair. I was curious about that. They explained it. And who this girl is that he's chasing after, trying to save. I was curious about that. Thanks for explaining it. None of these characters I was curious about anything that they were doing, so when they explained it, it was like, okay, yeah, that's nice. Could you do something about that plot thing?
It's kind of important.
It's a little bit important to the movie. Especially when it comes down to a thing like H.P. Lovecraft. Because...
Yeah.
the thing with the whole reason that they used HP Lovecraft, like for instance, if you were to make a movie that said, like, we need a super evil thing, what can we list that's super evil? Well, Hitler's probably going to come up at some point. Okay. That's because Hitler is just known as evil.
Yeah.
What happened was this...
And after just dealing with mechanized Hitler.
Okay. But in this, they changed it. They said, we need something supernatural. And someone just spelled the words H.P. Lovecraft. They're like, golden. Let's roll with it. Wait, what do we know about H.P. Lovecraft?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Let's make Wikipedia.
As long as it's in the title, we'll get horror fans to go and see it.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm interested in H.P. Lovecraft.
Throw a few titles in there. Put Cthulhu in there. Everyone knows Cthulhu.
They do. And in fact, Cthulhu, they're doing little interviews with people who are...
And they botch up what Cthulhu was.
Yeah. They were making interviews at the beginning with people who were literally on the street. Like, these were real people.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas with Obam Nude, we weren't sure. We were sure these were real people. Some of them have never heard of H.P. Lovecraft. Some of them did know about H.P. Lovecraft.
Some thought that he was alive in, like, the 1960s and stuff. And,
now he
was making, like, films in the 1960s.
Yeah, not just his stories that were adapted. He was making the films. Yeah. And some people were lifting off they knew about Cthulhu and all that. But then there was one guy
who actually knew his shit.
He didn't even... Like, he was saying, like, what were some of the gods back in that time? It was like, say Cthulhu. He was saying, like, well, ask the blah, blah, blah. I don't even know that guy. I was like, what?
I was like, oh my god, he actually has knowledge and know-how of H.P. Lovecraft. Quick, get rid of him! Or else he'll look smarter than everybody else in this movie combined.
Exactly. Every single one of the professors basically just said, no, the gods are definitely real. Here, I have a diary of someone who went insane learning about it. Take it.
I have a film, and after you watch the film, you go insane. Here, let me show it to you.
They didn't go insane, like it.
No.
I mean,
she went insane after she looked in the box.
Yeah.
Trying to gouge her eyes out.
Well,
she should have. I don't even know if she got the one eye out.
No, she got a patch over it.
Yeah, there wasn't even any blood on it, so she probably just poked herself in the eye with a pencil.
As we said, she was looking for a stone thing. Everyone's looking for a stone thing. So
always looking for a stone.
Yeah, so we assume that she found the stone, and that's what was in the box.
Stone, it gives you life, no.
So supposedly she went insane. It shows her in an asylum at the end, and they're like, well, it's a real shame people like this have to go. She starts chanting in Latin or Azeroth or whatever the heck the language is.
Abyssal for all you D&D fans out there.
So she starts chanting whatever language. They're like, whoa, what does that even mean? She is the gate. It's weird. We'll keep her in here at least until she has the baby. She's pregnant with a dark horror. Oh my god! That's so new and insane. Wait, wasn't Creature doing that?
It wasn't like so many fucking goddamn movies doing that.
Oh, it's not.
Dude, even Dying God was doing that.
Oh my god.
Except his dick was just big enough that it went through the person.
No, but that girl at the end got pregnant. Remember? She walked away from the scene.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my god. We found a connection to Dying God.
Oh my god.
The stage just got worse.
It did get worse.
Oh my god.
Alright, so yeah, that's, Oh god. I'm sorry, that just hit me a little bit.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, oh, no. 6 degrees of separation. No. We're making a connection. No. And still, when you look at this movie, you just see the abyss staring back at you.
It is. There's nothing going on. Whereas, if you have seen our Assault Girls review, we talk about how it's just so much of them staring at the whatever and all that.
This is so much of them doing something that does nothing.
Exactly. I think it's
an empty tomb.
If you do nothing, if you do virtually nothing, like no actions or whatever, then okay, whatever, you did nothing, that's a problem. But if you're doing actions, if you're doing things, but they lead to nothing, you're making us have expectations that you're not fulfilling, and it makes me sad.
Well, think about this, like Assault Girls had not enough. Well, it definitely had not enough. This one has way too much that accomplishes the exact same amount.
Yeah. Like, here's how
and they're both the same length, too. And we said that Assault Girls, you can feel its length at times. This movie, you can feel its length the entire film.
I made a comment at one point how I thought that the Netflix bar of, like, where you are in the movie, I thought that it was glitched because there was no way that it could be at the point it was at. It just made me...
Every single time we checked for the time, it was only like 10 minutes later.
It was 10 minutes later.
10-minute intervals, and we literally thought it was going like, you know, half an hour. I was like, come on.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's hear. We did writing, we did plot, we did acting, we did directing, we did sound design, video
It didn't
design.
have a horrible lighting.
Oh, anyway, he commented Venetian
One scene
lighting.
had Venetian blind lighting, very noirish. I have to give you a plus for that because noir lighting is the shit.
But they opened it with the worst acting throughout the entire movie.
Yes, they did.
So,
wasn't worthy of a softcore porn.
grab bag there. All right, I think we basically covered it all. Final thoughts on it. Sum it up. How would you tell these people?
Just darkness and shame and forgetfulness. It's like huffing paint. It's just nothing's pleasurable about this experience, and you forget about it afterwards because it killed too many brain cells. You, David, what's your final thoughts?
After we've gone over it all, just observing all the facts, I can't. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. I can't, Matt. I can't. It'd just be easier.
Whoa!
It'd just be...
All the bad boys want some road, it's tricky. And girls enjoy, they feel so lucky. Loving it quits, running out that door. Calling their mom while they lick that floor. How the funky monkeys got them walking stores. They're lost side and rolling like a rapper chord.
It's a good thing I shot first.
I got Lucas.